You have a bunch of invoices there. Let me see what you have. Not that I'm going to be able to understand these, because after all, I don't really do this sort of stuff.
Royals, that's one that did the work. That's their first estimate. Then this is from Ray's Transmission, that's another estimate.
Okay.
This is my note from my sister.
All right.
This is the work, and this is work from Chuck.
Oh, yeah.
And this is Chuck, and these are my check stubs.
Okay, boy, you've got everything here. All right, well, let this non-mechanic try and sort this out here. Okay, all right, you can go sit down. That's okay, thank you.
So while the non-mechanic judge tries to sort out all this mechanical stuff, let's try to sort out the legal stuff. Plaintiff hires defendant to fix her car. That's a contract. Plaintiff says defendant didn't live up to the contract. He didn't fix her car. After this break, we'll come back and find out what the defendant has to say. Transmission impossible. Plaintiff says defendant mechanic didn't fix her car. What does the defendant say?
There's a whole lot of stuff here, which, yeah, you're probably right, I don't understand. Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Smith. Did you do the work on this transmission?
Yes.
What was wrong with it, and what did you do when it was brought in January this year?
Basically what happened was in January, the trans is a 3-speed front-wheel drive automatic. The actual trans that was in the car was unrebuildable. It was tore up so bad we couldn't do anything with it. So I bought another unit, built it back to new trans, new torque converter.
What do you mean you built it back to new? I mean, old and a used transmission, right?
We take a core. We buy a buildable core and we build it back to new.
I don't know what this means.
There's only one transmission that will fit in that car. It's a 3-speed lockup transmission, automatic. When the work was done, they're given a 1-year warranty on parts, 90 days on labor with unlimited mileage. When they came back 9 months later, she's right. You know, I agree with a lot of what she said. She had a leak. She drove the car. It was tough to get her to leave the car because she needed it, but I can't work on it while she's driving it.
I know that.
When it came back 9 months later, we tried doing a couple of repairs without charging her anything.
But let's back up. You put in a whole new transmission.
Yes.
Okay, you bought another transmission that was used, right?
It's a core, yes.
Okay, and you somehow fit that into this car.
It's the same trans. It's the same motor, same trans on the same car. It's a 3-speed automatic front-wheel drive. On the Neon, they have 3 mounting bosses above the rear end, and that's the only one that will go in there. You can't put anything else in it.
All right.
So her original trans was tore up so bad that it was scrap, which I told them that. We built another trans, put it in.
Okay.
When it came back, whatever the time frame was, even though it was out of the 90 days labor warranty, I tried a lockup solenoid and a lockup converter and never charged them for it.
Okay, you know, Ms. Eldridge is correct. Okay, I don't do this. I don't know what you're talking about when you're saying you're doing these things. You're going to have to explain it to me in regular English.
Okay. On the vehicle, you have what's called a lockup torque converter. It goes between the motor and the trans.
Okay.
At a certain RPM, the converter is designed to lock up to give you better gas mileage. You also have a lockup solenoid on the valve body, which works as part of the lockup system. When we got the vehicle back, I changed both of those components. I never charged them a dime, even though technically they should have paid the labor. When they came back again and it was still acting up, I said, let's just pull the trans out. Let's go back into it, see what's going on. And at that time, they should have paid $600 in labor. And I worked with them and I cut it right in half. If you look, I told them, I'll charge you $300. They were still having a problem. We kind of got in a little bit of an argument in my business. They took the car. I had one of my employees call to see if we could get the car back to correct it because, Your Honor, this is irrelevant, but I mean, we've been in business for 56 years. We've been on that corner almost 40. You can check with the Better Business Bureau, the Automotive Bureau regulations. I have no complaints and haven't had for years. I try to resolve problems, not wind up here. And when we tried to get the car back, They did bring it back. It was real late in the day, and as a matter of fact, my guy even went to give her a ride home. She had already started walking home. And then, like, very early the next day, early afternoon, her husband or boyfriend or whoever came and picked the car up. You know, there was just more time needed than what they were willing to give me. I didn't refuse anything. I never told them I wouldn't fix it. I just needed a little bit more time than late afternoon today and pick it up early in, you know, the afternoon the following day. It takes a little bit longer to do this kind of work.
But you had a 1-year warranty on it, right?
Yes,
So
with open mileage.
okay. So there should have been no problem. There should not have been any problems with the transmission at all.
I agree.
Okay, and
Yes.
something was wrong.
Right, there was definitely a problem, and I tried to correct it.
But what you did, if I'm understanding you correctly, when it was brought in, October 7th, I guess, you weren't sure what was wrong with it.
We changed the two components that dealt with the lockup because what it was doing is, like she said, it had a winding noise, which is usually the torque converter is going bad and it's winding, and it also had a problem with it locking up. So we
Okay.
put a new lockup solenoid and a new lockup torque converter.
Did it come back again after that, or was that the...
Yes.
And when was the second, well,
Well,
third
we
time,
pretty
I guess,
much
but-
did the work. We tried to schedule it and slated. Our hours are 8 to 6, Monday through Friday, 9 to 3 on Saturday. A day that would work with them was a Saturday, even though it was a short day and only have half a crew on Saturday.
that was the next day.
Right, so I did try to get them to bring it on Saturdays where I could, like, work around their schedule also.
Well, when did it come in again?
It came in then, it was later on, it came in on a weekday because she, I believe, kept the car long enough to go get her children from school.
Okay, so-
And that's why she brought it in so late.
And was it like the next week, or do you know when it was brought?
It was within like a 3-week span we were doing this work for.
Okay. Did you find out when it was brought in the second time? When it was brought in the second time, was the problem still there?
Yes, and I had purchased another, I was gonna build a totally another trans and just eliminate that one completely. Because obviously, if after 2 times I couldn't correct it, then maybe we're overlooking, you know, could have had a warp case or a hairline crack, and we were gonna scrap it and just get another unit and build
You know,
it.
it just seems, I guess, disconcerting. If I go into the transmission shop and I want a transmission, or what turns out to be a new transmission, person puts in, at least as I understand it, pretty much a new transmission, which should work, and then you come back 9 months later, and the person who put it in said, well, that's not good, let's put in another one. Doesn't the customer lose faith in that person when something like that happens?
I would say they could, yes.
Yeah.
But again, I never denied fixing anything.
All
I
right.
tried to work with them as best I could on time and money.
Well, what happened the second time then that she brought it in, which is, I guess, the middle of October, somewhere in there? Did you do any work on it at all, or what?
They brought it in late in the day and
Okay.
left it.
Okay.
And I was gonna put another unit in, and early the next day, her husband or boyfriend, whoever was calling, called, we hadn't got to it, and he came and picked it up.
And that was the last you
And
heard
that
of it?
was at, you know, when I say late in the day, I could be wrong on my times, but
Well-
it was after school lets out. We're only there till 6, and then it was early the next afternoon, you know, like maybe 11-ish, 12 in that area.
He told me to
You're
drop
going to
the
do
car
it
off on
anyway, so
Monday,
yeah.
And he said he had my car ready that Tuesday by 6 o'clock. And you know what, I got to thinking about that, and I said, well, he couldn't fix it these last 2 times. Last time he charged me $300, and my problem's still here, so I'm gonna take it to somebody else.
You don't ever know. You don't know what was wrong with it, do you?
Not, you know, Your Honor, for the amount of work we do there, we're one of the busiest shops in the state of Michigan. For the amount of work we do there, we have a minimum comeback rate. But every now and then, you do get a transmission that you have problems with, and sometimes to get out of it, you just gotta eliminate it and get another one, and that's at the point we were at.
But you didn't really answer my question. You
I'm
don't know
sorry.
what was wrong with it.
Did I know what was wrong with it?
You don't know now.
It had an internal problem, yes.
Well, okay.
A crack case or warped valve
I
body.
know that.
Well.
But I mean,
it-
beyond that, you don't know.
Right.
Right?
Yep.